Hey everybody, this week I want to talk about the car shelter project that I was working on. We're going to do a little bit about the solar tracking project, and I want to talk about some hidden benefits that you can get from having a library card. So let's start off at the beginning here. The car shelter, if you remember, the snow caused part of it to collapse. Now, it's a couple of years old, and it still had the same material covering it, so it's not terribly surprising it's finally started to give. It's had snow on it for a couple of years and things, so the weight and the sun and everything degraded the material. Now, to take that material off is kind of easy and kind of not. Shelter Logic makes material that you can replace it with, obviously. But what happens is it goes over the top, down the sides, and there's loops, if you will, that run the length that are at the bottom so that it holds it in place. Obviously, you don't want the wind blowing it off. The problem with that design is in order to put it in place, you have to take apart the bottom of your structure. Now, it's okay because the top's going to hold it in place still, right? You got top beams and bottom beams. You're going to take those bottom ones out, but the bottom ones are kind of the ones most likely to get damaged or rust or anything else that could happen to them. That's where it's going to happen, right? So you have to undo the connectors at the bottom so that they expand enough that you can pull the pipes out, which could be difficult. And then you have to slide the new cover over the top and then put all those pipes back in and screw them all back into place. So what I did instead was I took an estimate of the size of the shelter, and I wasn't off by as much as I thought I was. I got a 24 by 24 foot tarp, and because it had collapsed, I wanted to get some cover over the car for the winter. We still had a couple of storms coming up. I wanted to make sure we were covered. I had snow on the ground, so there wasn't a lot I could do in certain circumstances for it. So I threw the tarp over the top. Now that tarp will extend from one side to the other, all the way down to the ground. And it goes from the front to the back and a little bit more. So, okay. I got it in place, but then I put slats underneath. And the way I did the slats was just between these sections. There's 5 sections to each side. They were approximately 4 feet apart and about 6 feet long. And what I did was I put the material underneath these slats, but because they were in between was great, but the gap between the slats allowed water to pool, and because of that, the force of the water caused the slats to slide because they weren't bolted to the structure. They were put up with zip ties just to hold them in place for now. Final design is going to be a grid of 2x2s that are going to extend out to the sides on both sides. So these, what currently goes down to the ground on both sides won't quite make it. This will take off about 4 feet of height, which I think is going to be acceptable. We'll see how it comes out. May have to put some straps down the bottom to hold it in place. But this will take care of the side walls because the side walls will eventually start to collapse as well. But that worked. It made a reasonable replacement for what was already there for the car shelter. Putting the grids in place is going to be a step toward me replacing the top with an actual roof. So my final goal for this car shelter is to turn it into something a little bit more of a permanent structure. It's by no means going to be heavy and not be movable, but it will have a regular roof on the top, going with a corrugated plastic as opposed to a metal roof. Same basic concept as having a metal roof, but it'll be a clear plastic, so light will come in. It'll be protected from the rain, but it'll have great light inside that. So if I want to use it as a workspace, if I want to take the car out, for example, and wash it, and use it for a workspace, I'll be able to work inside there with a great amount of light. And then if it rains or something else, I don't have to worry about it. There's enough space around the car that I could actually store tools and sawhorses and things if I really wanted to in there with the car. So I could use it as a utility place as well. The sides, I haven't figured out what I'm going to put on those yet. Could go the same way. Put a structure down those and put the same type of corrugated plastic in place on those as well. And the whole thing would be lit up, if you would, from the light. Or I could go with a colored one so that you couldn't see if the car was in there or not, but you'd still have all the light coming in from the top. So I have some options that I want to do for that one. So the car shelter project will require me to go get some 2x2s and get those together. I got to make a frame. There's going to be 6 frames, 2 8-foot wide and 4 8 feet wide, and 2 4-foot wide ones for each. So that'll take care of the entire thing. So 2 and 1 on one side and 2 and 1 on the other, and that should be enough to take care of that and give a little extension off the side of about 2 feet on each side. So there's a little bit of an overhang so that the water isn't coming down directly on the sides of the shelter. Moving on to the solar tracking project. Picked up a solar tracker for about $400. It's been sitting in the shed now for about a year. I've got the panels for it. I just didn't have the time to get everything together last year. I want to put it above ground. Now, if you've seen one of these before, most of the times they're mounted to the ground itself. Put a concrete piece down there, they're bolted to that, and that's how they're handled. I want to do it differently. I want to put it up about 8 feet off the ground for a few reasons. Most notable of which is I have deer that run through the property, and I really don't want anything down where they can damage it, even inadvertently by somebody scaring them and them running through. Even though there's no place you can shoot anywhere around the area without hitting a house, we occasionally get hunters through, and the last thing I want is a scared deer bolting through and either cutting themselves on this device or hurting the device. So it's going to be up about 8 feet. I'm thinking of a collection of 4x4s. I think I might go with 9. I don't think 4 is going to be enough. But putting 9 together should give me enough of a base that I can hook the 9 together, put them down into the ground. So I've got a 12-foot section, put it down so it's in 4 feet, concrete the bottom part of it, put these into place, and I'll have a little sway, right? A little bit more sway than you probably want. I'm going to put a deck around it because I need a workspace at the top to put the panels on and things. So if I put this down, build a deck around it, so put the frame of a deck around it, and then put cross pieces to go out from the deck itself, from the structure of the deck to the column that I'm creating. It'll help hold that column as well. Cut down on the sway ability from it. And the top part where the tracker is going to be bolted will be at the same level as the deck. Right? So it'll all work out at the same height. That will allow me to put that into place and to walk around it and put anything that I need in place on there. Plus, it being up at a deck like that, it's got lots of area you can spin around and it doesn't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about mowing around it either, but don't have to worry about trees coming up around it or anything else. It's going to be out in the open where it can get sunlight and it can track the sun from early morning to late afternoon. But now let's talk about what you can get from your library card that you may not know. So if you don't have a library card, probably means you haven't been to a public library in a while. If you go to a public library, they have a collection of things that you can take out. Obviously, they have books. They sometimes have audiobooks. They can have movies. And if they don't have a book, you can go have them go get it for you. Same with some of the other stuff. But there's a couple of services that require you to have a library card, but your library has to support them. And the first one that you can get is Hoopla. Now, Hoopla is audiobooks, ebooks, comics, movies, TVs, magazines, or music. And think about that. It's free. This is a free streaming service for all of these things. So you can, if you've got a library card, this is all free. And it's going to be based on what the library has in their catalog. So I would recommend you go to Hoopla, see what's in there and what you have access to based off of your library. The other one is All Movies, and it is called Kanopy. Now, this is Kanopy with a K. Hoopla is Hoopla, Hotel, Oscar, Papa, Lima, Alpha. Kanopy is the movies, and that's Kanopy, Kilo, Alpha, November, Oscar, Papa, Yankee. And it's a streaming service for movies. Again, it's attached to your library. With that one, when you try to sign up, I haven't tried Hoopla yet, but when you try to sign up for Kanopy, you can put in where your library is located and see if your library shows up. So if you don't have a library card, you can go in there and you can look at your area and see where you should get a library card, where they have this supported. But they have hundreds of movies available on there, some of the new stuff, some of the old stuff. So they've got quite a collection in there. So you can go watch your movies for free. So it's a free streaming service, compliments of your library card. So especially this time when we've got so many expensive things that we have to deal with, you can go watch movies at night for free. There's some movies and things on Hoopla as well. Kanopy has a better selection, I believe. But you also have ebooks if you prefer to do those. You have audiobooks on there, comics if you like comics, or you have kids who want to watch comics, or read comics. They're on there as well. So just by having a library card, you have all this stuff for free. And it's a way of you having some entertainment in your life that's not going to cost you anything except taking a trip down to get a library card. And in addition to that, with the cost of everything else and with things going on in the world right now, having some entertainment, having a way of disconnecting from what's going on or diving deeper into what's going on. There's some great books about how the Constitution was written, etc. So if you want to get into any of that kind of stuff, go down, get your library card, check them out here, make sure that they support Hoopla, and they've got a good catalog for Hoopla as well as Kanopy, and go from there. So that's what I got for you guys this week, and I will talk to you all next week.